What is going on, Lakers fam? This is your boy Jay Lake, bringing you Lakers all day, all the time, even the off season. If you haven't yet, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down under. Any comments would be much appreciated. So today we got Big Al on,
Hey, thank you for having me back.
and we got Nas back too.
Greetings, Lakers fans. How are you guys doing?
So since that last video that we posted, we're gonna try to keep you up to date on what's going on. Pretty much, it's kind of trade limbo right now. There's been not much movement on, like, say, the Damian Lillard front. There's also PG-13, Harden, Pascal, and Levine. So I'm kind of glad that the Lakers did what they did and we struck early in free agency because, we got what we needed to be done out of the way. Not like previous years, these major superstars kind of held up the trade market. Everybody's waiting and all the good free agents get signed. So I'm glad that we did what we did. Damian Lillard. So Joe Cronin from the Trailblazers, he's asking for four firsts, and two good young players. I mean, in this day and age, in this current trade market with the strict CBA rules, that's a difficult package to get. I mean, I know it's Damian Lillard, superstar, once in a lifetime, franchise altering kind of talent. But just look at what Bradley Beal got. Kristaps Porzingis. There's several kind of major players that they didn't get much for them, so it's hard. On top of that, Aaron Goodwin, Damian Lillard's manager, saying that Damian Lillard will not be happy if he does not go to Miami. So any other team that trades for him, he might not show up. So that's going to be rough. Kind of a stalemate right now.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all, Jay. If he gets traded to the Lakers, he's going to play for the Lakers. I mean, he's talked about it before. He's joked about it. Him and LeBron have talked about playing together and saying that it would be a great fit. But yeah, so I don't really believe that. That's all posturing, in my opinion. But yeah, he definitely wants to be in Miami. That's for sure. But it's all posture.
Yeah, Damian Lillard is not a player that's ever really caused a lot of problems. He seems to be a really nice guy, great player in the community, or a great person in the community in Portland. Great player on the team, great team chemistry. Really hasn't had the problems that we see some superstars have had in the past on our team, say like a James Harden. So I really do not see him not showing up to a team's training camp. Can you imagine if he was traded to a team like Boston and did not show up to their training camp as intense as those fans in that city is about their basketball team? That would be a bad look to a person that really has a good reputation around the league.
No, Nas. He could go anywhere, but not Boston or the Clippers. But
hypothetical situation.
It's kind of it's rough,
I think he's fluffing.
Yeah, as a superstar, it's kind of rough. It's like you kind of tiptoe a fine line between. It's like you want to be loyal to your franchise. You want the fans to love you, and it's like you say all the right things. It's like, oh, I want to be with X franchise for the lifetime of my contract, kind of like what Kobe did, but nobody's Kobe and nobody will be able to fill his shoes. So it's like, but that fine line is you kind of gotta draw your line in the sand when to kind of cut ties, because if your team isn't competing or they're a small market team or they're not getting the superstars, then you're kind of wasting both the franchise and the kind of superstar talent's time. It's like you want that franchise to be able to get the assets available for them for drafting well, and that superstar, you want to give them a chance for that chip, right? I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, Portland hasn't done a really good job of drafting or like keeping players. I mean, they lost LaMarcus Aldridge that year that he was with Dame. Obviously Brandon Roy was hurt, but they had him. They could have had those three guys playing together. It would have been amazing. But yeah, they just haven't put a good team together. They went to the Western Conference Finals one year, and then they just kind of faltered. So they made some bad decisions with contracts and re-signing guys. And I think once they signed, what's his name, to that huge contract, Dame was like, no, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to give me support up here. So
Jeremy Grant, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Jeremy Grant, exactly. I mean, once they gave him that much money, I was like, yeah, there's no money here to like help him out. So good for Dame for finally asking for the trade, but maybe a year too late.
Right.
I guess my thought is, what's the rush for Portland to trade? Damian Lillard is not going to be a free agent in the next coming years, correct? So, what is the urgency to trade if they don't like, what is being offered for Damian Lillard? What is the urgency? Kind of like going back to Damian Lillard, probably will still show up to a Portland training camp. They have a lot of rookies and a lot of young players that he can help mentor. Yes, he wants to go to a team that can compete, a winning team, but if the deal doesn't look good to Portland and they don't get what they want, what is their urgency here?
I mean, that's a good point that you make, Nas, because Portland does not have no urgency whatsoever. They want to get the best trade package. Damian Lillard does not have a no trade clause, so that makes it that much more difficult for him. He should have asked for that. It's just sometimes when a superstar comes in, they're disgruntled. It makes it tough for both the franchise, the other players, and the superstar. They come in, they don't want to be there. The other players know that he doesn't want to be there. Then he doesn't really buy into the system, and it kind of falls down the line from that.
I just don't see him doing a Jimmy Butler situation in practice at Minnesota Timberwolves where he's yelling at the owners in the rafters saying, "Trade me." I just don't see Damian Lillard doing that. No disrespect to Jimmy Butler.
No, I don't think he even shows up, to be honest. I don't think he goes to camp. I think he stays pat. He's not going to risk getting hurt and then ruining his value in the trade market. So I just don't even think he shows up. He lets the young guys, and I don't think Portland even wants him to come back if he's asking for a trade, because the same thing, they don't want to ruin his value, and they probably just want to move forward with the young core that they have.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. I mean, AD, Chris Paul, there's several major superstars, disgruntled, wanted to trade, and their team just kind of held them out. So, yeah, it makes good sense. So the other players, where do you think these guys end up? Or do you kind of think they stay with their team? Pascal Siakam, Levine, Harden, even maybe Ben Simmons, the hot potato guy. Nobody wants him.
I think for Toronto, their GM, their president of basketball operations, is a pretty smart guy. I think he's going to hold on to Pascal until he has the right package to deal him. So, I think he stays until the moment comes up, and I think that's probably like mid-season. I think that's where he likes to do some of the trading. He has thrown guys out there, check their value, and he probably sees that the market is kind of bare right now. So he'll probably wait. He's a smart guy, and he'll make the trade when the time is right. For
Masai Ujiri, right?
Yeah, Masai Ujiri. He's really good. For Zach LaVine, I don't know. That team is kind of like a weird mesh of swings, forwards, and guards, and I don't know. They got Lonzo hurt. Not really sure where Chicago's going, So I'm not really 100% on Zach LaVine. And then for, James Harden, I think he will get dealt. I mean, he opted in. I don't think he opts in to stay. He opts in to get traded. It's just a matter of, is it the Clippers or is it the Knicks?
Yeah, for me, it looks like Lonzo Ball will be out for a very long time, if not for the rest of his career. So I just wanted to, kind of talk about how sad that is, because it did seem like Chicago was a great fit for him. If that's the case, I would think that they would try to rebuild. I know Atlanta has some chips to trade different teams. I don't know if Zach LaVine wants to go there. We know they have already DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, but Zach LaVine would be a great option, maybe a second or third option for an up-and-coming team that's coming up right now. Not really sure what team that would be. I think for Toronto, their best option, like Big Al said, is to keep Pascal Siakam right now. I know they have some chemistry problems with their youth or up-and-coming players like Scotty Barnes, but I think right now there just really isn't a great destination and a great place where you're going to get good value for Pascal Siakam right now.
Yeah, I mean that sounds pretty solid. So for our summer league, we're currently 1 and 2. So we lost our first 2 games, won our last game against the Warriors. Some of the players that are kind of having solid seasons is Max Christie. He made that kind of first year to second year leap. He seems like he's doing a lot better. Solid ball handling, smooth jump shot, good release. First game, 17 points. Second game, 25 points. This previous game was 22 points and 7 rebounds. So he looks pretty solid overall. Other players are our first round selection, Jalen Hood-Schifino. He on the previous game, he had 9 points and 5 rebounds and 3 assists. He was kind of a shaky start to start the summer league. Seems like he's kind of picking up though. Hard transition between that college game and the NBA, faster pace. But he seems pretty solid on defense, steals, and he has a pretty good jumper as well.
Yeah, I mean, Max Christie, second year going at it in the summer league. We've seen this kind of jump from some of the players that we had, young players that we had in Austin Reeves and Josh Hart, and like just some of the guys that we've had in the summer league that have kind of showed out in their second year. He's added more weight. He's found his pace, I think, his pace that he likes to play at. I think before he was shooting it too fast, kind of playing a little too fast. I think he's found a good rhythm. And he looks good as far as his game goes. JHS, yeah, he's a young guy. He's got to kind of figure it all out. It is a different game, different length, different speed. So yeah, I think it's just an adjustment period for him.
Max Christie, dare I say, the next Austin Reeves. He's got a little bit of everything. He's got a mid-range jumper. He can explode to the basket. I heard that he's kind of taking the leadership role on this team, telling players where to go, calling plays for himself. He's showing the confidence that you want to see in a second-year player, a return player to the Summer League. So super impressive for Max Christie. Probably will not play many more games in the Summer League because there's just not much else to prove. Now you risk getting injury or something like that. As far as Schifino, Jalen Hood-Schifino, he seems a little bit OC to me. He seems like he's going too fast, and he's rushing the ball up the court, and then sometimes attacking, and then not taking a very good shot. Has not made a 3 in the Sacramento California Classic or in the game yesterday in the Vegas League. So that's concerning, especially since we're a team that needs 3-point shooters. But these are just games, getting the rookies acclimated, to the NBA style. So you have to be patient with a person like him.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Max Christie gets a solid rotation minutes this year. He looks like a much better player so far. Some of the other players to mention, Cole Swider, still that 3-point marksman. The gripe that NBA scouts has on him is basically that he's a 3-point shooter and nothing else. That's still kind of true because he's not showing much on the defense, subpar defender, not many rebounds, not really assist guy, and he can't really create for himself. So what do you guys think about Cole Swider? Is he going to get some rotation minutes as well this year, or?
He's a tweener, he's too big and slow to guard the small forwards, and he doesn't have enough in the back pocket to kind of guard the bigger guys. I don't think he rebounds well. He's just pretty much a shooter, catch and shoot guy. So he's got to find he's got to kind of mold his game somewhere. He's got to find somebody to pattern after, maybe like a Bobby Portis, get a little bigger. If he's having trouble keeping up with some of the small forwards, maybe he gets a little bit heavier, try to at least muscle up there with some of the other big guys. But he's just got to find his game defensively, because obviously he can shoot, and that's going to be a valuable weapon in the NBA. He just got to find the spot on the defense.
Yeah, it seemed with the game yesterday against the Warriors, it seemed like he was getting pushed around defensively. He was only comfortable, shooting threes. He did have a play at the end of the game where he drove to the basket and had a dunk, but it seems to be a player that really just likes to shoot 3-point shots when he's on offense. And then, of course, he just seems overwhelmed defensively. So he needs that other skill that makes him a valuable player in the rotation for the Lakers this season, which I just don't feel like he has at this point.
Right. So it seems like you guys are down on Swider as well. I mean, he did have 19 points, 5 of 8 from 3. But right, if he doesn't have any other game besides that, I mean, you saw what happened to Malik Beasley. He was third in the NBA for 3-point percentage, But once other teams figure out that, all you're going to do is sit behind the line and chuck, then they know how to guard you, and that kind of negates what their best ability.
Yeah, and he's a streaky shooter. So if he is not actually, hitting his shots, then what purpose does he have on the floor?
Yeah. Some of the other players, Demoy Hodge, good 3-point shooter. Colin Castleton, undrafted, sort of went the route of what Austin Reeves did. It always seems like, the Lakers have this break glass in case of emergency kind of big man. It used to be Jay Huff. Now it's Colin Castleton. Castleton doesn't have much size. He's more of a finesse player, but, good with the rebounds, good with the dunks, and good with the blocks.
Yeah, Castleton's nice. I mean, I like his game. He's got to just polish everything out, but I think I like what he offers right now. Just don't know if he can make it onto the big roster, at this point. Maybe he takes over for Jay Huff's two-way player status, but I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, he was signed to a 2-way contract this week. But you might want to fact check me on that one.
Yeah, I know there's definitely 2. There was Jay Huff and Pippen that were on the 2-way, but I don't know if you have to re-sign them every year or not. But
yeah, I heard it was Moy Hodge and Castleton got signed to 2-way contracts this week.
Okay.
At least that's what I heard. I like him. I like his hustle. I like his energy. Dare I say a Mark Madsen with more offensive skills. He just seems like a good energy player, but obviously he can even dribble the ball up and he can take it to the hoop. So, and shoot free throws. So a lot of skills there. Kind of an energy player. Not a bad piece if he's going to be on our G League team. Say we don't find a backup center for that 14th spot. What a transition right there, huh?
Right. Some of the other players are lanky wings. It seems like they fill a need because that 3-and-D wing defender is always very important. So Lakers have Maxwell Lewis, Fudge, and Baugh. Lanky wings with bounce. They could get up and down the court. They could drive to the basket. They could dunk. So, I mean, those are pretty important in today's NBA.
Maxwell Lewis had a drive to the hoop on the baseline where he missed a dunk, but it was a sensational miss. Shades of Jamario Moon or Sean Marion. So you got to like that athleticism right there, even though it was a missed dunk. He got the crowd excited last night with that.
Yeah, definitely has to fill out, but he's definitely got that bounce.
Yeah, Summer League, you kind of see these flashes of potential from these players that hopefully they develop into what you want them to kind of develop into. So 15 players, NBA roster, that's kind of needed in order to keep that third 2-way contract. Currently, Lakers, we are at around 160 million. We have roughly about 5 million and change left still. That's more than enough for a 1-bit minimum signing. Gabe Vincent, we signed him to a 3-year, $33 million deal. So 11 million. So that leaves with $1 million and change extra. That's great for whenever we need to sign a free agent during the season, say, from waivers or if a team kind of waives a player or, just some kind of free agent that's drifting around and we need certain player skills if somebody goes down. So we have that kind of $1 million extra in change to offer them above the vet minimum to be better than other teams.
Yeah, I think they're probably holding out for the buyout market. There may be some guys that are still, may not have a roster spot by the end of this free agency, or maybe they go into camp and they get waived. One name I saw was JaVale McGee. He was training with Vando a little bit, so maybe JaVale comes back to the Lakers and be that second big off the bench.
JaVale McGee.
Yes.
Did not play very much with Dallas last year, I recall, but he did have a pretty impressive year off the bench for the Phoenix Suns the year before. So hopefully he has a little bit of gas left in the tank if that is the option that the Lakers choose. We have some other rim protectors like Bismack Biyombo. Really, that's the only skill he has. But if we're looking for that, option off the bench with Jackson Hayes, he can come off the bench and, of course, even play with AD and just be that duo, the Twin Towers, if you will, to rim protect for them. Tristan Thompson, I guess, did show a little bit of upside during the last elimination game in the Western Conference Finals versus Denver, when the Lakers kind of seemed a little desperate to just get that spark off the bench. Another name that keeps coming up is Christian Wood. And Christian Wood is super impressive. Offensively, I think it was 16.7 points per game that he averaged last year on Dallas. But just a huge defensive liability. People said that he really fell off the roster and the radar when Kyrie was traded there, but I remember him sitting out the innings of games even before Kyrie was traded there because he was just a defensive liability, and they had other bigs that just could play better defense in pivotal parts of the game. But, huge upside offensively, especially if he's going to come off the bench, or especially if AD, sits out a portion of the season due to injury like he normally does. Christian Wood can kind of make that or what AD gives you offensively. He can make part of that up offensively and consistently as well.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to go. I think they're looking at bigs for sure for this buyout market, and it seems like those are the best options for them. Just because they still don't really have an answer. I don't think they have enough bigs to go against Jokic still.
Yeah, I think Rob Blink and the Lakers are kind of like what Lakers fans are. They have FOBO, right? Fear of better options. On the one hand, you want that ever veteran presence, kind of like JaVale McGee. But what's left in the tank for him? It's like at his age, with the asthma that he has, it's like he's not going to provide much besides maybe some advice. Christian Wood, good offensive player, but he's not going to provide you that Twin Towers. We want that Twin Tower effect where it's like, it sends everybody up a position, basically. AD slides to 4, LBJ slides to 3, and then that way we have a much bigger lineup and sort of like what we did in the championship 2 years ago. Bismack Biyombo, yes, good bruiser, but he doesn't really have that size. I think he's listed at 6'7", 6'8", maybe-ish. But, I mean, he's a veteran presence as well, and he did pretty well with the Suns. Too bad for Mo Bamba. He got signed with the 76ers. Beasley went to the Bucks. And Lonnie Walker. He was our X Factor, but, he signed with Brooklyn. So those guys are gone.
Montrezl Harrell also signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, which I knew he was a backup big option as well.
Right. And so that last roster spot, 15, or say, we don't choose to go that big man route with the number 14 roster spot. A couple of notable free agents are Terrence Davis, Kelly Oubre, Will Barton, Frank Ntilikina, TJ Warren, Trenton Wofford. What do you guys think about these guys? I think Kendrick Nunn might be available too.
If it means championship. But yeah, I don't know. I think Terrence Ross, you said?
Terrence Davis.
Terrence Davis, right.
Forward.
Okay, I mean, Kelly Oubre? I thought he signed with somebody already. But if not, I mean, he does have like a good length. He can shoot, and he's got good abilities, good ball handling. I think he would be a nice player, but I just don't know where he would have minutes because there's a lot of guys kind of hovering around the same skill set and talent level that you're just gonna be like, well, who's gonna actually start there? But it's kind of like last year.
From that list, I would go with Will Barton. He was a Laker killer on the Nuggets, and he's like the microwave. He just can heat up real quick. He's instant offense on certain nights. Of course, he's a streaky shooter. I don't know about team chemistry because once the Nuggets parted ways with him and got Caldwell Pope, they became a better team. But instant offense and just, has the ability to move in and out of the starting lineup and come off the bench.
Yeah, Lakers fam. So you heard it here first. What do you guys think the Lakers should do? Who should we fill with that 14th or 15th roster spot? And do you think Dame is a good idea if, say, Lakers were to try to trade for him? Put your comments down below, like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Go Lakers.